And we are live. Sweet. All right. If you're checking out the video, I'm gonna be hanging out on crypto Twitter. It's getting zesty out now. Usually around this time when it gets later, Twitter just gets kind of crazy. So we're gonna hang out on Twitter and just chill and see what's up. I know T's Crypto had a space earlier. I was trying to hop in there. I see that Karma has a space in XRP Stewie. So we got plenty of stuff to hop into. Give me 1 second as I get this situated, and we will be on our way.
That's because once you do that, the others kind of adjust themselves. You know, this is kind of the bad thing about being the bigger guy is you're going to get.
I said Ripple. I did not say XRP. Ripple is with them.
I mean, this is where the he gets a bit really. Ripple has all the money licenses. Ripple has all the payment abilities. Ripple has all of these acquisitions in terms of like to actually run on the actual XRPL.
No, but they already got the license, bro, from DFC in Dubai. Mm-hmm. They already got. I think they got the license in October.
Yeah, no, it was at the end of November. But I'm talking about the XRPL Foundation because they run the XRPL as well, right? But Ripple have all of these licenses around the world to actually run the payment system on the XRPL. Does that mean that the XRPL Foundation also now needs to go out and get their own licenses, especially if they're going to be transferring money on Zahao and on the XRPL? Do they need to do the same, or can they actually still run off of the money licenses that Ripple have got as well, right?
I think all the cases with Ripple.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because the main, they got the license in Singapore and the UAE. I mean, that's big. I mean, there where the money is. There where people are trying to solve real problems, moving a big value. Because on the Middle East and UAE, or like if we say like UAE, UAE, they got the license on the UAE. It's like they got the license on all of the GCC country, because UAE is like same like if you have a license in France, it's and the EU, it will applicate on the EU. Do you got my point, Dark Horse? So on the UAE, when you got license here, especially on the DFC, it's like you can fuck all over the GCC country.
See here, we've got this thing here from fintech investment arm of Standard Charter. SC Ventures partners with Japanese conglomerate SBI Holdings to launch digital asset joint venture in the UAE. SBI Holdings, damn well that they've got R3, they've got XDC, they've got XRP, they've got a few others in there as well. They're actually interlinked here, and it says down here, I did not know this, that SC Ventures, Standard Charter Ventures, positioned itself to enter the UAE market after it exited its stake in Swiss-based tech firm Metaco, following the later acquisition by Ripple for $250 million. So SBI Holdings then joined forces with SV Ventures to then go into Dubai to build a strategic partnership. And at the same time, this was on the 13th of November, and then the 29th of November, Ripple also gets his VARA license. Wonder what they're actually joining forces for. Still trying to find this UAE thing that you're talking about, but
Man, I mean, recently I shared the documents. I don't. I think I sent it to MetaMan and here on the space. It was from the monetary bank. Okay, and the monetary banks here, like the boss of the monetary Arab bank is Saudi Arabia. And guess what? Ripple, the Arab monetary bank, they are mentioning that they're using Ripple network. Okay, and they mentioned Ripple.
Did somebody else just
Yeah.
took that, Shawmas?
Yeah, but what they don't know is Arab Monetary Bank is not only Saudi Arabia or UAE. They have all the GCC country, and they have also countries from North Africa. They have also Egypt. They have also Tunisia. They have also Algeria. They have Morocco.
Well, that's the MUFC. Is it MUFC? Is it MSF? That's the part of that whole conglomerate of the main African currency, aren't they? MFSC or something. Did somebody else just talk? I'm sorry, I'm not on the front page.
But I think I think they're hiding a lot of info. But by the way, Dark Horse, I think R3 a financial problem right now. This is what I heard, and I think that probably on Ripple gonna buy the last share of R3. What do you think, Dark Horse?
You can't.
Yeah, I was in there earlier and they were chatting about some other stuff, but now they're kind of just bouncing that around. I'm gonna hop in Karma for a little bit, but yeah, sort of. This is sort of like the new stream. Hopefully, this is coming out all right. I found out what was up and sort of fixed the stream, so they should be good now. Slightly lower resolution, but they should be good. But yeah, usually I just got 2K, so funny enough, like my dad's super into basketball. I haven't been super into basketball, and I've been trying to get more into basketball. Actually, sort of because of 2K, I kind of want to go to more basketball games with my dad. So one, I'm playing that 2K because it's a new game that I've been playing. I've been playing some other games, so I might hop around. But I want to get good. Plus, I sort of like, I don't know, kind of getting into basketball a little bit. But as I'm just hopping around these different Twitter spaces, if anyone has any questions, I'll answer any questions. And if you guys have any questions for these chats, that could be really cool. I was hoping I would hop into one of T's chats, but I guess I missed him. I'll try messaging him, but yeah, we'll be hopping around. So let's hop into Karma.
It's really not that much. I mean, you're talking a couple thousand people. It was nobody.
For sure, Karma.
I'm sitting here looking at my buddy came over the other day and then fucking ghosted me. We were supposed to catch a goddamn gator, and his didn't call me, and he went and caught the gator by himself. And I'm pissed.
Who's this?
I got all the goddamn ammo.
Who's this, Karma?
Like, I was giving the ammo just for free. Like, and he didn't even call me. I'm pissed. So he owes me a beer.
For sure.
And it's an 8-footer. That's a decent size. Motherfucker. He's going to get an earful out of me. What's up there, Quincy? How you going?
Hey guys, what are you guys up to? I saw you guys were chatting a little bit, so I figured I'd hop in.
We're not really doing it. We're talking about being. We're talking about I don't know what else. And then gators.
Gators, like Florida Gators, later Gators,
Yeah.
Gator haters. I don't
Well,
know.
my
We're talking
butt.
about a whole lot of nothing.
Much ado about nothing.
Okay, just so you know, Angie, Quincy and I went to the same high school.
No,
Believe
you
it or
Right?
not.
no, you did not. Okay,
Trippy, right?
separate, definitely separate years, different years,
Yeah, decades apart, but went to the same high
decades.
school.
Well, that's pretty cool. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
So he knows the area down here. I don't know exactly where he lived in town, but he knows the area down here. So yeah, my buddy, there was a gator. He's a nuisance gator hunter. So he had to go get this gator, and he came over to my place, and he was all excited and yada yada. And we're playing a game of darts, and we were gonna go get this gator in the morning. Motherfucker never called me. I mean, he lives right here on my street. Like, it's not like I'm that far away. I can walk over there. Like, give me a ring and let me know. Like, all right, you want to go at 8, 9, whatever. Let's go. I mean, I'm up at fucking 5 o'clock anyway.
How long have you guys had the stream going so far? I actually just started live streaming, so or this space.
I don't know. I had a space up earlier today, but
I'm gonna say about
that
an hour.
crashed.
I'm gonna say about an hour, Karma. You've had it up.
Yeah,
It's been
and you
about
want to
an
know
hour.
what? I'm sorry, Quincy. I'm gonna catch you up.
Yeah, let's hear it.
Do it, Karma.
Well, my inclination was to say I'm pissed, but I'm not actually pissed. But right when I started this space, like literally 5 minutes into me starting the space, I was watching. Did you see the interview with Steve Narioff from yesterday with Deaton?
No, I didn't actually.
Well, effectively, what he said is that and I rewound it and listened to it twice. Okay, so I'm not crazy. He fucking used my postage stamp analogy, which does work, as the entire legal justification for Ethereum.
Wait, your postage stamp analogy. What was the
And
postage stamp analogy?
he even time stamped. He said back in 2013. I was like, yeah, that's when I would have written that.
Tell him your analogy, Karma. Tell him what it is.
The analogy, and I saw Greg Kidd used my postage stamp analogy when he testified in front of Congress. I mean, that's on video. You can see that. I posted that several times. The analogy is that XRP is like a postage stamp, right? Like it's a burnable. You put a postage stamp on a letter, it's gone. It's burned, right? Over. Goodbye. So that's the XRP part. The mailbox is your wallet, right? So that's where the units of value, the letters, the packages get delivered, and that's your like end point. And then your validators, the network server operators, those are your post office. Okay, they run the network, they do the routing, they provide the computation for pathfinding and whatever, all this kind of stuff. So that's your routing. That's like your post office. So that was essentially the analogy without expanding too much on it. And this motherfucker says that that's the entire analogy he used to justify the legal justification for fucking Ethereum. And he said it from back in 2013, which is when I wrote that. And that was before Ethereum. I think Ethereum came around in, 2015 or 16, something like that. In any which way, I started the chat and I was just watching the thing, and then Angie popped in, and I don't know. I had just seen him say that, and I was like, I don't know. I would love to have him in on one of these spaces, though, and I will reach out to him. I don't know if he'll answer or anything, but I will reach out to him. So if I do, I'll do it publicly, and if anybody wants to retweet and encourage him to join, I would appreciate that, because I would fucking love to. I mean, he could have come up with that analogy in his own right. I came up with it on my own. There's no reason that he can't be just as, sort of keen to come up with it on his own. It's a good analogy. It works. It's practical. It sort of fits multiple ways of trying to dissect the problem. It still fits no matter which way you try to dissect it. That's fine.
You should tag him in your post and tell him to come on.
I will.
Come on to this space and explain himself where he got his analogy.
I will. Well, I want to watch the rest of the interview. Okay, I'll do my research first. I'm not trying to lambast the guy or anything. Like, I don't give a fuck. If he used the analogy and it moved the industry forward, awesome. I mean, I think the analogy fits. It works. I mean, I still, after all these years, think it. I mean, that was a fucking decade ago, right? Like, the analogy still works. Yeah. I mean, David used to reference it, and I mean, Greg Kidd took it and fucking used it in Congress, and I mean, he used to be a payments researcher for the Fed, right? I mean, it's not like he's an idiot. I don't know. I mean, I would be sort of proud if that was the legal basis for all of Ethereum, was essentially my thinking. I would be proud of that, but a little sort of, I mean, at least a tip of the hat or something. Like, I'm not asking for any money or anything, but like a little recognition would be like, oh yeah, this guy, like I said, I was FinCEN back then, not Karma Coverage. But, just a little recognition would be like, all right, that's at least appreciated. I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't even imagine asking for any money. What the fuck would I ask for money for? There was nobody around back.
Maybe like you said, we could have him on the space, and that could be really cool. And not only can he, like, I mean, yeah, getting that recognition would be dope, but also, like, going in what he means too, like, because I kind of want to know what he meant by, like, well, one, sort of going in on your sort of like metaphor, but at the same time, like, his like rationale for it as well.
Well, it comes down to the utility value aspect, right? So, and I'm pretty sure, in all honesty, that I was the first person to articulate the idea of utility, because it was, I mean, all techie people back then. I mean, I know you've done financial work, so like, what I would assume utility value is. Nobody fucking knew what the hell that was. So when I like popped into this space, and it was like, oh, what the hell is this? I don't know. Nobody understood what the hell it was. I was looking at it, and this is actually how I came up with the postal analogy, was because first I was like, oh, this thingy has, like, I guess you could call it utility value, because you can't really use the network, hence use utility without the token, because it was only, this is pre synthetic order books and all that stuff. So it was only an anti-spam token, right? So it was just essentially like a postage stamp. If you want to use the postal network, you have to burn this utility token. And the utility of the token is, if you stick the stamp on the corner of the envelope, then this network will deliver it to to Angie, right? I mean, on the other side of the world. And so the stamp has utility, and the XRP is kind of like a stamp because you're just paying a transaction fee. And apparently this is the exact argument that he used to make the entire legal justification for Ethereum. And then I got myself a little flustered. Because he was using my exact words. And I remember this shit. It's not like, I mean, I forget the person I talked to yesterday, but I remember when I make points. And I don't care if it was 10 years ago. I remember exactly what I wrote. Because I went back and triple checked it. And I saw it read off in front of Congress by Greg Kidd. And now I've heard it fucking read or said that the Narioff guy used it to justify fucking Ethereum. So, any which way. I'm usually not a very excitable person, I guess. But
you should definitely try and get him on one of your spaces. That would be great.
I'm going to. That will happen. Like, and in no fucking way am I bullshitting. I'm not bullshitting at fucking.
What's his name, Karma?
The Steve Narioff guy?
Steve Narioff?
It up, and you are paying fine, and that's good.
Okay.
But you make a good point. You make a good point. I mean, you paid $20 million, but you made that billion.
Yeah, is it really fucking up if you've made billions but cost 20 million? And take that example. Take that example I've just gave you. Now, I'm in court. I've been in court for 4 years. It's cost me $200 million. At the same time, while I'm in court, I've still been able to do exactly what I've been doing. Been able to go around the world, been able to sell my tokens, because hell, while I'm in court, they can't stop me selling them because I'm in court for that thing. And I've made myself over $4 or $5 billion. So I've got court cost of 200 million, but I've been able to sell tokens, been able to increase my business, been able to increase my flow of productivity. I've been able to increase my workforce. I've been able to increase the amount of banks in all of my relationships for the last 3 or 4 years. Been able to do all of this, and I've made $5 billion, and all it's cost me is $200 million to sit in a court case with the SEC. Would you say that was a good job or a bad job?
For me, it's a bad job.
Yeah, because you're an XRP holder. But as a company, would you say that was a good job or a bad job?
I mean, for us, in my religion, it's haram.
Well, that's not what I'm asking you. Is it a good job or a bad job?
For me, I mean,
you've made $5 billion. You've increased your holdings. You've increased your actual ability to go around the world. You've done all of that for your company in the 5 years that you've been in a 3-year court case with the SEC. No, it'd be 4 years now, wouldn't it? So yeah, 3 to 4 years with the court case with the SEC. So during that time period, you've made $5 billion and it's only cost you $200 million. Good job or bad job?
Yeah, good job for the company, but it's hurt the retail.
Okay, so JP Morgan, when they did their stuff to their bank holders and everybody else, right? Was that good for the company, or was that good for the retail?
It's good for them. What they're doing.
Exactly. So you could say Ripple and JP Morgan are pretty much on a similar par, right?
Yeah.
So why do you think Ripple would want to continuously discount and ignore all offers made by the SEC and keep it going?
They're playing their game too.
Exactly. They're playing their game. We're just along for the ride, and hopefully we get some major profits out of it once it's ended.
Mr. Darkos, my friend, if you Google his name Rebrab, okay? He's one of the top wealthiest people in Africa. And I mean, and he's my friend, man. He comes to my home every time he comes to Dubai. Whenever I fly to Europe or I go to Algeria, I met with this guy. And we many times, because this guy, he was like investing a lot on the AI, because to manage some software for their company, they wanted to use the AI for the marketing. And we opened the subject about Ripple, about XRP. And he told me he's over-invested in XRP. And he told me the price is undervalued, and they are keeping it under $1 for a reason, because he said if it's out of $1, it's out of control. It's for a reason. He says it's a manipulation. It's a pure manipulation. He said,
we'll come back to that, mate. Shramos, we'll come back to that. I see Zach's got his hand up. Zach, I'm not on the main screen, buddy. I'm just Googling shit. So apologies, mate, if you was agenda for long.
Did you hear what I said?
I did, but Zach's got his hand up, but we've been talking for ages.
Yes, I just had a quick question.
Oh, is that the little one, Zach?
Yes, I got the little guy with me. I just wanted to ask your reaction to the Stephen era. You were obviously answering some of that, but just your thoughts on Stephen and John's interview yesterday, if you watched it, and how big are the damages?
You and these goddamn damages. Really depends if he's got his receipts, right, Zach? If he's got receipts and he's got proof, then the damages would be to the people on the Ethereum network, right?
Why, Zach? Do he have the receipts?
He's just come up to talk about damages, because that is the next aim of the scope of once the SEC is over. But the problem Zach's probably thinking about is the SEC will probably take this to Supreme Court. So he won't be able to claim damages until after that comes through. And I'm just wondering, still to this day don't understand how you could... I still don't understand how you can actually claim damages.
Hey, Darkos, I used to see US like an angel. I never like thought that the US is too much evil like that, man. I never believed that.
Yeah, I know, mate. You start. Well, as soon as you realize what politics are, and then you start getting into politics, it's the same worldwide, right?
I used to see the US like the Robin Hood movie, man. Like the one who want to save poor people and making poor people rich, and it's totally the fucking opposite thing, man.
In recent years, I've got to agree with you. The politics side of America has gone a bit Pete-Tong, but I can say exactly the same for the UK as well. Definitely gone effed up.
But if we see this action right now, the politics getting changed and getting screwed up by the time, So we can understand from that the governments are broken or the financial system is broken. So that's why we're seeing these problems.
See, this is where I'll disagree, right? How is the financial system broken?
The printing. There is no value.
Everybody around the world printed at the same time, though, right?
I'm talking about the US, man.
Yeah, but
There is nothing backed with the US dollars, bro.
There's plenty back in the US dollars.
Well, do you see the US dollars having value?
Do you know what? Here's the thing, Shwamos. When people say the financial system is broken, the declaration is what we're saying there is money is broken. But are we saying that the underlying rails are broken? Are we saying that the way money transmits is broken? Are we saying that the flowing of money is broken? Or are we just saying that money itself is broken?
I'm saying the banks are broken. I'm saying the Fed is broken.
Do you want to elaborate more?
The Fed is just like printing money and printing money. And this is affecting not only the US, it's affecting all the world.
So when they raise interest rate, what are they doing with that?
Yeah, and the most people who suffer, I mean, Europeans, they are not suffering a lot, or the Middle East. The people who are paying the price is people on Africa and Latinos America. Those people who are paying the price really high. Do you get my point, Dark Horse?
No. Can you elaborate further?
I mean, yes, man. The interest is going so high, man.
But they put the interest rate up so they can burn the dollar back, right?
But the life is getting expensive, man. The life is getting more expensive. For example, let's say also in the US, but in African country, for example, let's say a bag of rice who used to cost like 5 dinar, right now it's cost 20 dinar.
So
are you saying
that the US? Are you saying that the US is having an effect with the dinar?
Of course, it's having an effect all over the world. Because right now, who is on domination is the US dollars, right? Even the EU is just keep printing and printing too.
But is the US dollar pegged to that to the dinar? I can't remember. Yeah, I'm gonna need to go check.
No, it's not. The dinar is not linked to the Kuwaiti dinar, yes, but the African country like Algeria, no.
So I'd hang out there longer, but I asked to come up, and they just wouldn't add me up. I'm like, come on. Now, I knew the host, but I didn't know the two people that were talking, so I figured by the time they'd stop talking, they'll let me up, but they just never did. So it was a chill space. The spaces that I was in earlier were super chill. That's part of the reason why I wanted to start live streaming. But I'm like, it would suck just to be hanging out here, and I'm kind of just listening to these two dudes bicker. Oh my goodness. So, sort of just to be a little meta, actually just set this up because I figured out what was up with my streams. Figured out a few things. So, sort of was testing that as well, sort of testing Twitter in this game aspect. Part of the whole premise for the game is a lot of the times where I'm on Twitter Spaces, I'll literally just be chilling here on my couch, and like just playing a game or something, hanging out. Sometimes I'll even be in like VR, right? Just sort of roaming around or whatever, right? And so I figured, oh my god, it'd be chill just to sort of have, I don't know, it. I know it'd be chill if it was like a thing, because I know people do this online a lot, and I play a lot of games, so I'm like, why not just chill and play with me, I guess. I hop into a lot of these. Look at these. There's so many of these. I hop into a lot of these Twitter Spaces, and you never know what you're gonna get. Sometimes they could be super good and really stimulating and really amazing, and you find people with different perspectives and come from different walks of life and work on different projects and all the all that, right? And then sometimes you just get the craziest, two dudes yelling at each other over who knows what. Um, So yeah, this is sort of just a test stream. Not every stream's gonna be like this. I've got a few different types of streams here, so I'll even show. Kind of just like a game stream, kind of chilling, play games, I guess. Uh, got myself chatting, and I'm gonna do one like this, but also for Discord, because I hold a few Discord groups. So it's not just gonna be these game streams. These are sort of more like low key, uh, kind of this low key Twitter space type deal. I spend so much time in here, and you never know what you're gonna get. So like I said, I'll just play games for a little bit. Someone says something cool, chime in. Usually the conversation can get really interesting. Some of these spaces are like 24/7. Some people just host spaces and they'll pass it on to a new host, and they'll pass it on like a relay. So there's like nonstop spaces all the time. So I figured why not. Plus, this is a lot easier than, like, I used to do this for making videos, and I would just sit here for like hours to get like 15 minutes of videos. So I'm like, if you guys want to hang out, cool. Playing video games, whatever. If someone actually asks something really cool or says something really cool, I'm hoping that we can capture that aspect of the conversation, that engagement, and then make like a video like later of that. Just take the most core engaging parts of the stream. So yeah, that's kind of the idea. And yeah, I hope to do these like every day. Not these, but some sort of stream, whether it's me talking with people in the space or talking with people with other perspectives, like I did with the attorney, whether it's hopping on Discord with any of you guys, or hopping on Discord with people that I know, or people that I work with. And I hope to do more collabs, actually. Part of this whole setup, actually, part of the even reason why I'm playing 2K is I wanted to do collabs. And I knew if I like gamed with some people, I knew if I sort of branched out from the crypto space and got a little bit more into just the general online, like, I don't know, streaming space, it'd be cool to be able to do collabs with people that aren't just crypto people. I think there's a lot that gets misunderstood about crypto, and it'd be cool to sort of like clear that up a little bit. But I feel like sometimes the crypto conversations in the crypto space kind of just start going in circles, and they're good conversations to have. I just don't want to have them all day, every day, over and over again, like a broken record. Um, so yeah, that's kind of just the plan, really. I do this because I want to put out more content. I just don't want to spend all of my time doing stuff that I'm not like really editing. And if I were to find like someone to help me edit, I'd much rather find more devs to help me with a lot of the other projects I'm working with, like individually. That's something too. I might even code on stream. I thought about that. I thought about sort of waiting until I might like, I don't know. I thought about doing a few things, but yeah, I even thought about like coding on stream, or going over smart contracts, or going over like documents, or articles, stuff like that too. Sort of just like how you see the Twitters off in the corner over here, off to the side. Minus the video, minus the game down here. I sort of wanted to do the same thing with other pieces of content as well, not just Twitter. So yeah, just testing it out, I guess. Let's see. Wonder if you guys are still barking at each other. Actually, so one thing I might do while I'm sort of chilling here, trying to figure out what space would be good. If you guys have any questions, start rapid firing your questions. These are a good way to get your questions out. When I'm doing these streams, I'm not gonna always get your questions, so if I ever get a chance to just chill for a second, just fire them in. Like that could definitely be something pretty cool. Um, One thing that actually, this is sort of just to start like the topic. Actually, I might even go into the what is it, neighborhood or city or whatever the hell. Um, there's a few reasons why I set this up the way I did, and sort of it was inspired a little bit by I have a lot of metaverse conversations with a lot of different people and projects. One being Expector, but it sort of like it sparked my mind a little bit into we frame metaverses through the context of crypto, but we don't frame metaverses through the context of like experiences. And when I got 2K, I thought it was just like this basketball game. But by every metric of how people measure metaverses, this has its own little metaverse with its own currency, with its own players, and the activity is basketball. So people obviously play basketball. So I was actually like playing this game while having a conversation with those guys about it. So uh, one of the things that I sort of like thought was interesting was how many different sort of experiences do we engage with all the time that we don't necessarily consider metaverses, but sort of fit the bill. I think one of the biggest things is although you can use blockchain technology to help facilitate your metaverse, I don't necessarily think that blockchain technology is like contingent, or the metaverse is contingent on using blockchain technology, because it's almost like a broad concept in how people can engage. Now, I think the first thing people would say is, well, what's the benefits of crypto? And the first thing that sort of come to mind, especially when you start playing games like this, is there's no liquidity. So once you buy, like, I think it's VC tokens in here, once you buy VC, ooh, once you buy VC, those are your coins or whatever, and you can use that to buy stuff in game. But you can't buy things from other players, and you can't exchange things that you have. So this is actually super lame. But if you look at my character right here, yeah, Q chillin', super cool. He's got like this jacket and this Mountain Dew pants or whatever, right? But then he's got these shoes, right? And these are like 9,000 VC shoes, which really are too much than I should have. I probably should have like put them on stats, but I thought they like went well with the clothes or whatever. And then it made me really think like, so the demand for the demand for any of these things are aesthetic, but there's this element of now that I've acquired it, I have no means of being able to exchange it. So as people want to express their aesthetic in these like virtual environments or even just digital environments, they could be, because you could consider YouTube or Twitter also a metaverse. But as people want to express their aesthetic, there's no liquidity. So like there's no means for me to be able to create and that's really like the big benefit that I try to like emphasize a lot. And it's one of these things that, I don't know, it's a thing that it was a conversation piece I was talking with a bit, with a lot of those guys. And I just thought it would be a cool thing to sort of relate, because I see a lot of people think that everything has to fit through the lens of crypto, and it doesn't necessarily have to, although crypto can enhance a lot of those things. This is cool. Someone commented, I think crypto really has to find the next email. Think about how simple and dull email is, but nearly every website you sign up requires an email. We all talk about shit about email. We all talk shit about email during daily life. But yeah, it's sort of one of those things that's just been normalized as part of the internet. And I think it's because it's sort of a building block of the internet, especially from a user's perspective. There are a lot of building blocks in the internet on the back end, but email is exactly one of those like front end components. Not even front end, but like one of those components that the average user engages with that is essentially necessary for you to engage online. With anybody, whether it's actually using the email or using it to log in. I think that's one way to look at it for crypto. I think a more interesting way to put it is crypto needs something that's sort of akin to what Apple did for handheld devices, what Microsoft did for computers, and you can sort of say Apple too. But the biggest thing is there are certain services and products that are created that can create a better experience for users. And I think that's the biggest thing. I think there are a ton of different technologies that are really abstract, but there haven't been services built on top of them that can allow regular users to engage with the services that can be provided, with the abstract like functions that can be provided. And I think that's sort of what it is. So like we sort of like saw websites, and that was one way to interact with the internet, but smartphones created a whole new way to interact with the internet with like mobile applications, and that created a way that we redefined. Now don't get me wrong, the web internet and the app internet are very much similar, but there's still an element of there's an ease of access to these applications on your phone than there was to the computer or website, even though the ease of access is still relatively low. But the idea is that everybody has a phone, so everyone has access, as opposed to everyone, not even that everyone wouldn't have a computer, but it's sort of like that mobile element, making it more accessible. I think something like that needs to happen for crypto. There needs to be some component that's basically a service of some kind, or a collection of services that can just lower the barrier of entry for people to utilize crypto technology. But yeah, anywho, part of the reason why I came out here was people talk all this stuff about like metaverses and everything, and I'm like, I'm in this world. I can probably pull out a basketball here, right? And I'm just bouncing around this basketball, and honestly, I don't even know what the purpose is of hanging out in this space or whatever. There are these buildings that you gotta like walk to from mission to mission, and normally it'd be cool, but like I spend most of the time like in the gym or like playing actual basketball. I never spend time out here. So whenever I am out here, it just spends a lot of time walking around. But it doesn't change the fact that you have this environment that you can engage with other people in. I can go to a random basketball court with my friends, play basketball. All of that. It has all these components, right? And anywho, it has all these metaverse components, but because it doesn't have this crypto component, we don't necessarily associate it in the same boat as metaverses. And really the big thing is we go, oh, it has its own token, or or whatever you want to call it, its own credits or whatever. It has all these different things that are similar, but like I said, there's no liquidity. So, and that's not something they can't do. But the thing that's on top of that is, since there's no liquidity, so people can't exchange, or I guess would it be fungibility? People can't exchange with each other. But then there's no way for people to create third-party applications that could potentially utilize those. And I think that's the thing that sort of missed that blockchain can offer to metaverses. And people like to go, oh, I could take this basketball in this world and bring it to another. That could be one interpretation of that. Another interpretation of it could be, oh, I have these game stats, and let's say it's just like my stats for my character, right? And my character has actually, can I pull up my character stats? They suck right now, but I'm trying to get them up. Here we go. Oh, whoops. No. Here we go. Attributes. So look at this, right? So let's say just on chain, I referenced all of my players' attributes. I already see people adding me. That's funny. In this game, I'm able to keep attributes of my character, right? And it'd be really nice if third-party applications, like let's say I downloaded a third-party app that can reference these attributes, that can show me my stats in reference to other stats, or whatever. Now, a lot of people may say, Quincy, why don't you just like build an API? And yeah, sure, you can also do that as well. But the thing is being able to utilize something like this that can manage stats for a player on chain can automatically make that data available to other applications that are also on chain. So third-party applications can now start, and like I said, it doesn't mean that someone has to carry a basketball from one world to another. That's one interpretation that could be implemented in some capacity. But the simplest means is, hey, look, I want to have a third-party app that can reference the stats from players and their 2K characters. And let's say I wanted to create, some sort of my own sort of 2K league or whatever, I don't know, or 2K club tournament, whatever. Well, I can reference all of these stats for the players in terms of being able to compare them against each other, and just use that as just like a database in a sense. It's just a very simple example. And the reason I say that is application or games or applications that have other third-party services that can utilize them could increase the overall utility of the main application, because now third-party services are providing more functionality. So if someone created a third-party app that just read all of your stats and a bunch of other stats that are part of like my team or creator or whatever, it'd be really easy for them just to read the smart contract rather than the creators of this game having to create a bunch of APIs to allow third-party developers to interact with the stats. Anywho, I was gonna hop in another one of these spaces. I was just snoozeville for a second. I don't know. We'll hop out of this real soon. I don't know what to expect.
That was really important. So for us, the utilization was very, very important. UI was a big thing, and the guy that's single-handedly behind that UI is Rokindo, right? So Derek made that's his vision solely. I would say 98% to 99%, that's his vision. Alex Dokyoyu being the main dev. Everything else, that's Alex. They work in tandem. I'm the guy that brought the people together, and I hang around and I learn things from these guys. But our main thing was mass adoption, ease of use. How can we get people onboarded onto Cardano the easiest way possible? That was it. We want a wallet that we're going to use, that we're going to love. And that's what we started building. Early on, we saw the potential that the group had, and we kind of we set out a path. We had the vision. We set our goals. We set our objectives. We figured out that financially this is something that we can do ourselves, and we got to work. It was very, very difficult. It still is. There's a lot of hours put in. Like Derek and Alex are pretty much on call 24/7, and this is an international thing. The team is international, and we try our best to get to every single problem and find its solution as fast as possible so that the community doesn't have any issues as well. So as far as onboarding, we got to make sure everybody that's onboarded is happy. Now, to get to your question about how we feel about going out of 2023 into 2024, looking back at 2023, I mean, whatever we did.
Yeah, I don't know. I figured that might be cool. There's a Coders in Life one. This is super cool. I know these guys are devs, so it might be a little bit more technical. I might hang out in that one a little bit. Let me answer a question real quick. I saw a few cool little questions in here. Oh, I thought there were more questions. There's a lot of people saying like the stream or been watching it for a while. But yeah, I think sort of just like going back to like the metaverse idea. I think in sort of just in crypto in general, I think crypto or blockchain services are going to allow people to create apps that can just connect to each other a lot easier. And I think we'll start seeing like small semblances of that in new like products and services and games or whatever that are created. I think one thing that's sort of holding the space back is the notion that the cryptocurrency is a vehicle to generate wealth, which I guess it sort of is, but that's the primary vehicle is to move wealth, not quite generate it or to move value. But the reason I say that is if more people are essentially focusing on holding the token or holding the asset as opposed to building these services, then you're never going to find people that build the service enough to demand the asset to find that price appreciation. So it's a weird like Ouroboros where you can't be too focused on the wealth generating mechanism, but simultaneously it is a wealth generating mechanism. So that is a focus point. And if you're too focused on it, then there's not enough people building to allow that thing that you're focusing on to expand. But if you're not focused on it enough, then not enough people are going to be interested in you to even join. So, yeah, it's funny. Let's check out the Code in Life one real quick. It's a little more technical, but we'll see. And usually it's a lot more general. So there might be Web3 people in here. There might just be like just regular devs or whatever in here.
Session later, so if you guys are nerdy, check that out for sure. It's good times. I watched it last week. It was awesome.
Thanks, Jeff. I appreciate you. All righty. Everybody, bye. Where's the button? Bye.
This keeps happening. What the hell? Well, I guess I came into that space just for them to end it. I don't know why my game just keeps like crashing. Well, so long for that idea, I guess. Let me see. Who's up right now? I'm gonna see if there's anybody in Discord. That would be kind of cool. I thought there'd be way more going on. I saw T's crypto. I saw his space up. I thought I was gonna join, but he literally ended it the second I started streaming. Well, I guess a tiny bit of self-promotion here. Anybody that wants, if you don't want to miss these streams or you want to engage with my community or with me, come join the Discord. I'll drop the Discord in the live stream. Right now, it's just sort of general community. There's just memes and stuff. But especially with these streams, go on a lot further, I plan on engaging with the community a lot more. So having like Q&As and like ask me anythings and stuff like that, as well as people can get into different things that they may be working on or different things that they may be interested in, and that could be a place to discuss it with other like-minded people. So yeah, join the Discord. We got a lot of cool stuff in there. Let's see. The XRP space or Karma? See, I feel like Karma's just monologuing in here, which is chill. But I don't know. If anyone's gonna monologue, it's gonna be me. I mean, I'm down to listen to a monologue as well, I guess. But
related, that just has to do with investment. But follow, or this is, I follow what billionaires do. Millionaires and multimillionaires and decamillionaires used to be the key. Now it's billionaires and multi-billionaires. So really, what they're doing, because it's obviously public information. A lot of the times, they tend to not necessarily dictate where markets are going, but sectors sometimes, and that usually is a good recipe for something to follow for me. And yeah, I'm pretty bullish in crypto, more so for obviously since the BRICS was created, and the other countries that are and have been added to and joining amongst that, which ultimately is being backed by gold. So this is something just to consider. I mean, CBDCs is definitely on the horizon. There's a lot of stuff happening, but I'm very bullish with XRP. I still have a core bag, and yeah. So I just wanted to share that.
What have you seen billionaires doing that might be worthy of mention recently, if anything?
Selling a lot. S&P, a lot of tech. They're not buying. And
so you're saying an equity wind down from the billionaires?
Oh, sure.
Yeah, public equity. I mean.
Yeah, and it's not it's not their cash positions are being increased, so it's not relative to.
All right, that was getting kind of boring. I see some questions going in here, some Q&As. I see someone asking, do you think XDC will be backed by a commodity like copper? So I don't think any cryptocurrency is going to be backed by anything. That's not how this is with crypto. If you want to say it's backed by anything, it's backed by the demand of people utilizing the network to move value and to make executions in the form of smart contracts and like in dApps or whatever. What can happen is you can tokenize assets on top of XDC, and then as people demand to exchange those assets with each other, you use XDC as the native cryptocurrency to or the neutral form of value or the neutral form of capital to exchange with anybody on the network. So anybody can be in any country, or multiple people can be in multiple countries, and XDC can be the neutral form of capital to exchange any asset that has been listed or tokenized on chain. So that demand for that engagement, for people to exchange in value, exchange assets, that is the if you want to say backing or the demand. The people demand XDC for that reason. They demand it to be able to move value and move assets. And you can technically say that for any cryptocurrency. The biggest thing is what type of engagement are you going to get that is going to be demanded. So with XDC, we talk about trade finance. When we talk about tokenizing, we will talk about like commodities, and we will talk about like derivatives, and we will talk about like bonds and treasuries and stuff. And then smart contracts that can automate on top of that. So you can have like options that are automated through smart contracts, or other financial services like swaps and stuff automated through smart contracts. And then that engagement, all of those financial services and the total engagement that's surrounding all of them, that engagement to be facilitated must demand the native cryptocurrency to facilitate that. Yeah, any more questions? Let these questions rip. Let the questions rip. There's been some good ones actually in the space lately. I think, to be honest, I feel like I've got like the coolest community in the crypto space. Y'all ask like the best questions. Maybe it's the smartest community in the crypto space, although I know the XRP and XDC space has already been considered that a little bit. But no, I see like super amazing engagement and just a genuine interest to want to learn about things, or at least have an understanding why anybody would do anything. That's like sort of like my own joke. I'm like, why would I even do anything? Why even get up? What's the point? And then you just sort of explain that, and then it's like, oh, okay, cool, okay, I see that. But yeah, let them rip. Let them rip. See. One thing that I've been asked before is, and this is sort of like an ongoing question that people that aren't in crypto that ask quite a bit, is, and this is why I sort of make that joke, why would I do anything, what's the point, is like, what's the point of crypto? And I think a lot of this comes because obviously that's a good question, but usually the question isn't that question. The question is, I see people utilizing crypto as a vehicle for wealth generation, and I don't understand it. So what is the point of crypto? Then they get to what is the point of crypto? And the biggest thing is yeah, people, like I stated this a little bit earlier, but people use it as a vehicle to generate wealth or a vehicle to gain wealth, but then forget what's even driving that vehicle, what's driving that ability to, and that's why I get into like the services and the ability to move value and all of these different things, because once you start looking at it in that regards, well, then a lot of people seem to think that they're speculating on the price of a given cryptocurrency, but really you're speculating on future activity that will justify a future price, or justify a current price, or justify any price. But the thing is when you go, okay, and when you're talking about speculating on an activity, what are these activities that you're speculating on, and how do these activities contribute to the demand of the network? And that's like the real question to be asked. If you wanted to answer any network that would be interesting to get into, it's answering that question. And because it'd be the notion of what type of activities being being facilitated to such an extent that would continuously have more people join in. Because in that regard, then whatever activities there will continuously grow based off more people wanting to engage. And ideally, you like to say, well, it's cheaper and more efficient and it's faster, but you have to be a lot more specific than that. You can't just, I mean, don't get me wrong, those are all great, but they're very specific processes, mostly like business process, like solutions, business solutions, that can be facilitated. And as those solutions become scaled up, so does the demand so does the demand for the cryptocurrency to facilitate the movement of value for anything that's in that solution, whether it's just moving capital directly in the form of the cryptocurrency, or managing multiple units of accounts through tokenization, whether it's managing automated services through smart contracts and dApps, whether it's whatever. You can, I think in the future there are going to be like giant schools of economics that are going to be going into giant like industries, and even sort of like micro processes that run industries, and not that like not just like any random process. Like what I mean is, like when people talk about supply chain is not just one app. It's a collection of different businesses interacting with each other. So what happens when you have supply chain on blockchain and you have multiple different applications, multiple different businesses, multiple different services, multiple different tokens and assets, all being kept track through a collection or a wide array of different dApps or whatever, and none of them are necessarily involved with each other, but they're all seamlessly able to integrate with each other and, you know, provide whatever service they're trying to provide. I think that's really cool, because you can technically do that now in your current economy, but you can't really do it well because it takes a lot of auditing. It takes a lot of what's it called? Like, not consensus. Takes a lot of, you have to go out and garner a lot of information on all the different individuals that are involved in this process to be able to get a good idea of how this process is flowing. To be able to get real economic insights requires you to really requires you to audit a lot of data. But if all this data is on chain, all this data is through a series of smart contracts, all this data is essentially tracked as a log, everyone can reference it, and that's just one way people can do quite a few different things on blockchain. What sort of adoption have you seen in the XDC past year or so? It's been a while since I've seen you, bro. Yeah, so there's been a lot of cool things actually with XDC. Probably the biggest thing that I've seen from like beginning to end, or not even end, but from beginning to like it being bigger now, is Trade Trust. So Trade Trust was a application on XDC that was primarily focused on tokenizing documents, and a little bit around verifying identities, but primarily focusing on tokenizing documents. Not only have I seen them work with a bunch of different more like institutional clients, but also seen other startups utilize their smart contracts and their services to leverage the ability to tokenize documents, and I've seen third-party projects just utilize them really well, and not even worked with, but like had an interesting relationship with some of these third-party services that use them. So it's really interesting because this goes into what I was saying before. So Trade Trust, they created a service that allows you to be able to tokenize documents on chain, but then now third-party services, like another service is DTG, Digital Transformation Group, they want to focus on not only tokenizing documents, but focusing on managing documents between different trade partners. I think their biggest thing is like shipping partners. So there's a lot of different documents in regards to the shipment goods and identities around the shipment goods and stuff. So they're using Trade Trust to be able to tokenize documents and then manage the shipment documents within their application. And it's really cool. All this is happening on XDC. And it's just cool to see one application be able to launch, utilize some set of smart contracts, and then in their own right see growth, and then see another completely separate application, completely separate project come in and utilize their services. And both of them are doing cool stuff. So that's really interesting. We've seen USTY on chain, so that's been tokenized treasuries. It's been a US dollar coin backed by tokenized treasuries. So that's been really cool. And I think that's going to be one of the main fiat stablecoins on chain. We also have another stablecoin on chain. I don't know if they launched this year or if they technically launched in 2022, but they're really cool. They're Euro stablecoins on XDC. So they've been growing a little bit as well. their biggest thing is, and I think the organization that's running it basically even has I don't know if it would be a portal or a faucet or whatever, but basically you can go to their I don't even know if it would be you if they're focusing on more like bigger clients, but they have this portal, and you can go there, put in your banking information or put in your credit card potentially. But the biggest thing is you can make a payment and then get that payment in stablecoin on chain in euros. So if someone wanted to make a euro payment in stablecoins to somebody who may not have had a euro payment system, they could essentially input their payment system, get the euro stablecoins, and then send the euro stablecoins on chain. So that's been really cool. That's been super cool. Let's see what else has been going on. I know there's been some regulation in Europe, and it's not explicitly an XDC thing, but it's been a few things that projects on XDC have been getting really excited about. I think there's one called the MICA. I forgot what it's called. I forgot what it stands for. It's some European organ. There's a few of them. I think there's like 3 or 4 of them that we put out news in regards to new regulation or new clarity around regulation. So that's been a big thing, and there's been a few projects that have been anticipating stuff like that, so that's sort of why it was news a little bit. Let's see what else. There were quite a few things. How does XCC help with trade finance? If you want to trade something, with Joe, where does XDC come into play? So this has to do with a lot how trade partners engage with each other and what technologies they use to engage with each other. So a perfect example is like Zinfin and TradeFinex. They're 2 trade partners that I believe engage with each other on the XCC network. But the biggest thing is both of them are willing to engage, and mostly because Zinfin created the technology, and TradeFinex, the CEO of TradeFinex, was one of the creators of the XCC network. But the biggest thing is they both independently want to be able to use the network to be able to facilitate their business needs. But since they're both on the network, they can be able to exchange with each other whatever assets they may have, as well as be able to have different applications that they launch on chain and interact with each other as well. So what ends up happening is it's just a technology stack that people choose to adopt, and then based off them adopting, could allow them access to a new pool of trade partners, presuming those trade partners also made the choice to adopt these new technologies. This is no different than like how people may adopt any other type of technology and the compatibilities that come with adopting those versus others. This is just a new form of, like, I guess you could say just a new age technology that hasn't been widely adopted yet. So as new businesses, or really I think what you're going to see first is startups, because startups basically have no legacy like technology stacks. They can kind of do whatever. You'll see startups pop up first, adopting a lot of blockchain technology and blockchain tools. And then you'll start seeing a lot more businesses, but not because they're just utilizing blockchain. It'll be some back-end abstract service that's being facilitated between probably different brokers of some sort or different banks of some sort. But from the user standpoint, it'd probably facilitate some base service of whatever. Maybe it's payments, maybe it's settlements, maybe it's whatever. From your standpoint, it would look like a unit of account. From the business standpoint, it's just a way to engage with more trade partners. So... I really thought there'd be more going on Twitter. Tiny bit disappointed. I'm surprised a lot of you guys decided to hang out. Like I said, this was this stream here is more of like a test one. I typically I try to plan when people are gonna come up. I just didn't know if this stream was gonna work or not, so I didn't want to plan something for it not to work. But I figured out what was up, so should be a lot more consistent. Not that it wasn't, but a lot more, like a little bit more regular and more comfortable. But yeah, so originally I was gonna bring on a developer who also works in the space. He works for that startup I was talking about earlier, DTG, and he's utilizing Trade Trust to help facilitate their process that manages documents for different trade partners around shipping. So I was gonna have him on. I might have him on tomorrow or the day after, and we'll talk a little bit about his experience in the space and talk a little bit about what they're doing and what real adoption looks like. Real adoption is kind of boring looking, but really what it is there are a lot of business needs, and they're probably already being facilitated. Like, it's not like people are creating new things, but they want to create a more efficient way to facilitate this. So, and that's when I spoke to their team, that's sort of what was going on. They consider themselves like Web 2.5 or whatever, because they utilize a lot of blockchain technologies, but they also utilize a lot of like traditional technology stacks or whatever, traditional like cloud tech or whatever. And the biggest thing is they just want to be able to allow these businesses to utilize these blockchain services a lot easier than having to go through the complexities of trying to build these out themselves. So they're sort of creating this third-party SaaS product to facilitate that need that's already needed to facilitate needed to be needed that's already needed, but now they can potentially have a more efficient way of facilitating it. Good gosh. Ugh. But oh my goodness. I'm almost tempted to start my own space, actually. I typically don't like doing that as much, but at the same time, oh my goodness. I can't believe my fiance called. I hope to be doing more of these, like not just the games, but the streams. My gosh, why does this keep happening? But um, but yeah, right now I'm putting together a list of people that I think are really interesting, and right now the list is just sort of just people that are generally in the space, but um, I'm trying to find more and more people that work in very specific fields. So I know it's a lot of people that are in traditional finance. I know a lot of different developers that are in a bunch of different fields, whether it's like iOS development or smart contracts or whatever. Um, I know a bunch of different like product managers that work on different projects that do different things, whether they're like Metaverse projects or games. So I'm trying to put together a sort of like a schedule of, and it's sort of like a mix. Sometimes it's a schedule. Sometimes people have their own space and they're like, oh, you should come check it out. So I try to be able to capture those as well. Um, but yeah, as soon as I have more of a, hopefully a more of like a consistent schedule, it'd be a lot more engaging just to be able to have more of a conversation. These Twitter spaces are cool and they're sort of like a mixed bag. You never know what you're gonna get, but but yeah, sort of when they're not that interesting, they just end up, I don't know. I guess Twitter's Twitter, right? Um, Let me check out Karma again. Hopefully he's not monologuing. Hold on. We'll go to Stewie first. There's nobody in there.
But I ended up going out to the smoke area and talking to a guy, and he said that he was a Mason for a little while, close to 10 years or so. And he is from this area, this town and stuff. And he said it was one of the most weird things. You know, he wouldn't recommend it and everything.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Can I
hold
can
on,
I
hold
can
on,
I
hold
ask you a
on, hold on,
question?
hold on. And
What's
then
the population of the town? One quick question.
No, no, no,
I'd have to look
no.
it up, but I'll let you know for sure.
Okay, okay.
Anyways,
My question is,
then he
I know,
spits
I know,
out.
I know you're nearly
Then
finished,
he
but
spits out. He
do you
says,
know about
"This
Oak
event
Island?
is only
That's the
being
question.
hosted here." He said, "This event is only being hosted here. It's the first time that this, you know, rave or this venue has ever been moved, and it just so happens to be at a Mason Lodge." And then he spits out, "This is either to reward people or to shame people." And I just was like, you know, you might not be too far off on that, man. And seeing that you were a Mason in the past, I take your word for it.
Yeah.
What state is this
Jay,
in?
Jay,
What state, county?
Laris, can I just ask Jay a question, please? I'm sorry for interrupting. I just want to ask him, does he know anything about Oak Island? That's it.
I do not.
So,
And the county population is 130,000 people.
Laris, do you know
Okay,
anything
okay.
about
Is this in
Oak Island?
Cali?
My wife and I watched that show for about 5
Yes.
seasons, but we
Yes.
stopped after about 5 years.
Yes, yes, yeah. Look, I stopped after maybe 7 years. I had other shit that fucking, you know, I just couldn't watch it anymore. You know, but right, like, I'm a fucking treasure hunter. You know what I mean? I collect shit. Like, you know what I mean? So, you know, the knowledge that comes out of it doesn't even matter if anything ever gets found. I think it will get found, but you know the knowledge that you learn, you know about, you know, there's loads of mace and stuff. There's loads of fucking, you know, fucking everything, anything you could think of. You know, they have it in there. You know, so that's what that's what I was just asking, because he's talking about the fucking the mace and stuff like that. I was saying, do you know anything about Oak Island? Because there is been fucking so many things. But anyway, so yeah, I'm literally sitting inside a fucking massive fucking um ma-
Motel.
no, I'm in a huge hotel, and there's nobody here. I'm the only person sitting in a massive fucking thing, and I'm just no, it's funny because I'm echoing when I'm talking. So anyway, yeah, but Laris, I was just gonna say, yeah, get back to looking to it. I you know, I did give up on it for a while because it was just like, Jesus Christ, will you ever just find the fucking treasure? And I was like, when I get rich, I'm just gonna go up and I'm like, right, dig there, you know, like, but anyways, yeah, don't mind me. I just jump in every now and again. Chewy does.
Hey, Crypto Red Eye, you want me to be real specific, real
Yo,
quick with the population? It's 130,069. And you know, yin and yang, loop de loop, and pull.
what state is it in?
Kansas. When I looked up the
Kansas?
guy,
City,
so
okay.
and his name was Albert Pike. And when I looked him up on Wikipedia and stuff, it talked about him being in Arkansas Freemason and stuff. And I just find it funny that, you know, he's his painting is the biggest one in a lodge in Kansas. So I mean, and you know how people like to say Arkansas, Arkansas, you know.
Oh, right, right. Yeah, I hear you there.
What's up, Stewie? How you been?
Pretty good. Been off a little bit.
Same here, man.
Listen to everybody else. Sometimes I'll get in a chat, just listen and get out.
I'd say just as a fucking
Yeah, go ahead, jump in.
is it? I will jump in, of course. I'll jump in every fucking time, brother. To be fair, like he did ask the question, but like hope everybody is sorted for Christmas. And obviously it's a debate. Obviously, it's always fucking XRP or whatever. Fucking, it's always kind of going on. But look, I'm a nice person, and I'm not left into spaces unless I'm not. You know what I mean? So I'll give over. I just sent a picture there. Like I'm literally sitting aside it. There's like 8 pints in front of me, and I will drink them all. I just put a picture in the fucking thing. But to be fair, my fucking whole fucking my whispering, my whole fucking thing now for next year is just total freedom for fucking Ireland. But like crypto is my freedom. You know what I mean? So I just really need to get people to understand that financial freedom is the main thing. But like none of our fucking nobody, no, not one fucking prick. That looks after any community has one clue about fixing anything. It's just always just like do this for that, do that for this, or whatever. So and look, that's all I'd say. But fucking, I'm still listening. I'm enjoying the conversation. So just pay no attention. Well, do pay attention, but I'm not trying to fucking cause anything bad.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hey,
and
Red
no.
Eye, I put his painting up there. If you just want to look at it.
And yo, how's the weather where you're at? You got some snow going on over there?
Hell no. Fuck. Less than half an inch of snow. But one thing I did want to bring up here, you know what? With these central bank digital currencies coming on the horizon here, it's going to take out the counterfeiters. They're not going to be able to counterfeit fiat currency anymore.
Can I jump in there and
There's a
say
way, NTO. I'm sure those guys will find some way.
not easy,
Well, not even
right?
not if it's on the blockchain. How are they going to counterfeit that?
Right.
Oh my goodness, that wasn't actually a bad combo. I just wasn't that into it. I see a few questions in here. Someone was asking like if I could talk about PLI. So PLI is just or plugin is just a is essentially analogous to Chainlink. They're an oracle. They allow people to primarily stream price data on chain, although I do believe they're moving on to more than just price data or more than just crypto price data. They may be moving into other different prices and other different types of data that may be streamed on chain. But yeah, this data is streamed on chain, so smart contracts can reference it and make decisions off of it. So and that's fundamentally really all it is. Anything else? I know there's a few things that plugin the organization does. I think that's really interesting. I know they have a bunch of little education programs to try to encourage developers to build on XDC. And that's really cool because ideally, like you'd want them to build on an XDC, but they're also utilizing plugin as well to be able to build their applications. So they have a bit of a community that they try to foster around being able to build on XDC and using PLI. But other than that, all I really like the main point is they're in Oracle, so the people typically use them to stream price data on chain. Let's see what Karma's up to. Probably monologuing again. We'll see. No. Yeah, we'll see.
My hunch is he was reading the forums at the time, because there very much was not that many people. I mean, there couldn't have been more than 100 people around back then.
Yeah, plus I think he did mention that he asked Vitalik or said something about they should have did it like Ripple did it.
Well, I was even vocal about some of the stuff back then because, you know, I had my Series 7 at one point, and I just felt like it was in unregistered security. I mean, this is exact, like, seriously, wholehearted, real deal, no bullshit reason I didn't ever participate with Ethereum is the way it started off stunk. It just stunk.
Yeah. I love Karma. Honestly, Karma should just have his own YouTube channel. Really, he hangs out on these spaces all day. He's just another community member. Most people on Twitter are literally just community members. You do meet a few other people that are sort of in the space, but you meet more influencers than you do anyone else. To be honest, the real cool thing about Twitter Spaces is that there are people just like you guys that are watching, right? That sort of ask questions, and there are other people in the space that are either influencers. Some of them are devs, some of them are whatever. And you never really know who you're gonna meet. I know a few different influencers, so it's cool being able to talk to them. I know a few different people that have uh, I know a few different people that have a few things going on online. So it's cool being able to interact with their spaces. Like I know King Solomon has his Genfinity spaces, and they're supposed to be like sort of like this online media company around crypto. And their spaces are always amazing. They bring together a ton of different people in crypto, like HBAR, VChain, Chainlink. They'll bring all these different people, you know, XTC and XRP community members. They bring all these people together, and it's cool hopping on those spaces. And then you get a chance to sort of see people from other projects as well, sort of, and as well as, yeah, I guess it's like, you don't take each other's business cards. You sort of just follow each other. But, you know, sort of do that as well, like sort of get acquainted and follow each other online. So hopefully I can find more of those. But at the same time too, with these late night streams, part of the best thing about it's always like there's like a horseshoe. On one end, it's either like super annoying, super obnoxious, like you know what's the point of even hopping on here? And on the other hand, you might run into like David Schwartz. But no, like literally, like in any moment, there could be a random space that pops up with like David Schwartz or like the biggest trolls or memes or whatever. You never know what you never know. And I kind of hope I get some like clippable moments on that because I swear I literally this sucks because my stream was being stupid the other day. I had somebody accuse me of being an AI, and I like the guy was obviously a troll, like he was obviously like trying to like meme me or whatever, but I like flipped it on him, and I just like became super accusatory. I'm like, you're the AI, and it kind of turned into this like sort of this 5-minute tangent of me sort of railroading this guy and basically saying that everything he's saying is what an AI would say, and he's only trying to get ahead of the curves before people start like, you know, getting on to him or whatever. It was all silly, right? But I'm like, oh, that would have been kind of funny, just as like a funny little clip. Just Twitter shenanigans. But one thing that I hope to do, I actually hope to get kind of good at 2K. I actually don't even play games as much as I should. So when I play games on stream, would probably be the most I've like been playing games ever. Usually I play games with my friends, and that's part of what inspired me to do this stream in the first place. I play games with a lot of people that I know, and we end up just having cool like conversations and just like cool chats, right? And some of them are like sort of well known. Like I'll like talk with like Jake Claver or talk with like some other people in the space, and I'm like, oh, it'd be cool. Like sometimes we'll chat on like Zoom, or sometimes we'll like even like hop on games or whatever. So yeah, it was part of something that like inspired this in the first place, as well as I know this is a popular game, and I don't know, I've been trying to get into basketball for a while, so figured why not. Someone asked a cool question. What do you think of using the XRP payment transaction as a replacement for traditional document signature and a hash of the document as a payment invoice field. Yeah, so I think all of this information, everything that you just described about a piece of information that would be on chain, that hash, that, identification number, all of that information is exactly like right. It'd be a great place to reference different things. I don't think it's the complete replacement. It may take the place of like a signature or whatever, but it's a log. So whatever signature you have, instead of hosting it elsewhere, you host it on chain. Whatever sort of identification tag ID, it's held in this log. So there's this element of utilizing the blockchain as a log to reference a ton of different information for later, especially information that needs to be like verified or information that needs to be immutable and incredible. So, and that can be done in multiple different ways. So, the transaction may just be recognized as the signature now, or the transaction may be recognized as the identification number now. And that's not even a technical thing. That's just a recognition thing. Why should I recognize this digit in this database versus this digit in another database? They're both referencing the same thing. You just referencing it in this system versus in whatever system. But I do think you'll see more of that. But like I said, it's mostly just okay, this transaction happened. These are the details of this transaction. Blah 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 blah. You can reference it on chain to be able to have all of it, and maybe it becomes an amazing way to people be able to audit activity, because instead of having to query individual organizations, you can just audit the activity at whole. I might actually close the stream. There aren't any more cool spaces going on, and this was sort of a test one, mostly just seeing if everything worked all right, which it does, so that's cool. But yeah, I should be having these daily, and I'll have a lot more going on. Like I said, I plan on inviting more people, and hopefully those conversations can be a lot of fun, because I think they are, so why not share them? So, but yeah, I guess I'll check you guys out on the next one. Yeah.